Hello, this is Mario Cuban in London. I'm here to interview one of the members of Black Horse Lane Jeans. Yes.
Black Horse Lane Ateliers.
Okay, Black Horse Ateliers.
Black Horse Lane Ateliers.
Okay, so can you tell us your name, please?
Yeah, sure. My name is David, and I do the online business for Black Horse Lane Ateliers, and I also do our retail business when people come in to buy jeans.
So what is Black Horse Lane Ateliers?
Sure. So we're in, I guess the best way to describe us is a community space, but also a brand. So our founder, Han Atesh, when he opened the business, he wanted to have something more than just a clothing store or a clothing brand. So he opened the Ateliers in Walthamstow, and the idea is that it's a community space. So number one, we have our jeans company, where we manufacture our own jeans in London, the only company to do so for 50 years. Furthermore, we have a retail store for our jeans company, and we invite everyone to come into our Ateliers and see how jeans are made, meet our machinists. You know, like right now, Ivo and Miko are hanging out. We can meet the team that makes the jeans. But furthermore, we have a couple other artists that are set up in our studio. 3 ladies who are all doing weaving businesses, and 2 ladies who have a art restoration business. And then furthermore, we have a pop-up restaurant called Denim and Dine. So on Fridays and Saturday nights, you can come into the Ateliers and have a 2-course, brain fart, a 7 or 8 course Michelin star level dinner. It's £50, 7 courses, and the chef who runs it, Pedro Pacinjas, trained with Hessen Blumenthal. So it's really, really top-end cooking. And it's 2 nights a week, Friday and Saturday nights.
Did your project, did this Black Horse Lane Atelier, did they come about as a demand-led project because you thought that there was a demand for this kind of enterprise locally, or a supply project where you thought that you were giving something to the community? Which one?
It's maybe a bit more about changing up the whole system. So not so much meeting demand or meeting supply or creating demand, but rather trying to sort of change the mentality of the fashion industry. So our owner, Han, he's been in fashion production for 30 years, and he's had this building for 25. Back in the past, he used to work producing fashion in the same building for Debenhams, Marks and Spencer's, John Lewis, a lot of big name high street brands. And what he found is that over time, the fashion production costs in the UK kept going up and up. And so these brands, wanting to have bigger and bigger margins, asked him to move abroad. So first he was asked to move to Turkey for production, so he did. Next he was asked to move to China for production, which he did. And then third he was asked to move to Vietnam for production. And at that point he sort of said, okay, the fashion beast is getting too big and too nasty. I don't want to do with this anymore. And so he basically sold all of his interests in the fashion industry, closed down his factories in China, and moved back to London. During this whole time abroad, which I think was around 8 years, his family was still in London and Stoke Newington. So he came back to London, opened a restaurant in Stoke Newington called Homa, which is sort of high-end Mediterranean brunch and dinner. While he was in the restaurant industry, he saw an interesting revolution happen, and that's sort of the craft food movement. So, you know, instead of having people buying cheap Starbucks, they were buying locally roasted coffees, or instead of buying, you know, like a Budweiser, they were buying locally crafted beer, and also gourmet burgers. So people were, you know, no longer just going to McDonald's. They were, you know, looking for kind of really lovely locally made burgers. And he kind of said, this is interesting. There's this kind of craft movement happening around food where people want better quality and they want locally made stuff, and they want to connect with the people who are making it. And he kind of had this aha moment where he said, what if I try and do this for fashion? What if I try and create a craft fashion brand that's, you know, made local, made in London, where you can actually meet the people making your clothing? And he was inspired a bit because he had gone and bought a couple pairs of Levi's jeans, and they didn't fit how he expected to, and, you know, the same style, same size, one pair fit different than the other two. He kind of said, wow, this is really crazy. You know, jeans are for everyone, and they're, you know, no matter how you dress, no matter what walk of life you're in, you can enjoy a lovely pair of jeans. So maybe, this is his hypothesis, what if I start a craft local movement around jeans production? I make them in London, where I used to make my, you know, tailoring business, and I try and make a jean better than anyone else. And that's kind of the impetus for Black Horse Lane Ateliers, the brand.
So you mentioned that this is a community-driven, community-led enterprise. Does that mean that you are a social enterprise or a charity? How are you set up?
Sure. So we are a for-profit business, but the idea is that we want to try and connect with the local community as best as possible. So for example, we have a 17% discount that's extended to all E17 residents. And so, if you live in Walthamstow and you want a pair of our jeans, but maybe you can't afford them at their normal price, with that 17% discount, we can make the jeans more accessible to you. Furthermore, by the way, I think some customers might have just walked up. Furthermore, we're trying to connect with local businesses to make something that's bigger than the individual parts. Next door is Black Horse Workshop, which is a carpentry and metalworking nonprofit. So we basically try and bring business to them. They try and expose their craft makers to us. We support each other on social media. We support each other locally, trying to drive business to one another. Sorry. Across the street, our friend Farouk has a small grab-and-go restaurant. We try and entice our customers to go have lunch at his cafe, or the different artisans in the building. The weavers that are set up there, one of the weavers, Sophie, we've connected her with some of the businesses that we work with for fashion production to try and help grow her business, or introducing our jeans buyers to Pedro's pop-up restaurant and vice versa. So it's more about connectivity as a means of strengthening the community, so connecting folks and trying to kind of scratch each other's backs to help everyone's business.
In terms of your clientele's makeup, and I'm looking at age mainly,
Sure.
What sort of age range do you think that you are attracting at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've kind of we don't see too many folks in like the high school or university age. Usually it's folks who've graduated from university, they've got their first job, and they're starting to invest in nicer things. Hello. Good. Should we pause for a sec?